Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. Fui San, this little punk is stronger than before. The stronger looking scaled undying suddenly brandished a 3m long flame red blade as he spoke. I'll handle the human undying, you settle that, chemist. All children kill the human sector lords. A 100-meter long chain appeared in his hands as flames burned about it. That chain was like a black fire dragon dancing in space. Understood. The other undying laughed. Kill. Kill. The manic little sector lord-scaled beings all wielded their weapons and clashed with the humans. The most intense battle was without doubt poison against the stronger-looking scaled undying Tulu. Rumble. 72 gold vines madly rushed at Tulu. The surrounding space was torn apart, but Tulu maintained his manic laughter. He instantly unleashed his law domain, causing countless flames to fill the area. They burned the vines and even Poison himself. Go and die. Poison howled, bearing with the flames. Ha ha, little punk, you think you can use the plant life form to kill me at sector lord level? Tulu smiled manically. The scales on his face shifted as he attacked the vines about him ferociously. The fiery blade kept flashing. Almost like a huge fire wheel, it knocked away the large amounts of vines around, even knocking away the gold membrane and slashing through one of the vines. Some of the gold membranes that were torn apart quickly regrew new ones. Under the attack of the huge fire wheel, the many gold membranes began to dissipate and the vines were being cut. Howl. The dark green vine let out a painful thought. Amo, give it your all. Even if we die, we have to kill him, kill him. Poison's expression was manic. The plant life form was extremely loyal. The moment it recognized its owner, it would die along with him. Since the owner was giving his all, this plant would naturally not hesitate. Rumble, gold membrane vines pierced through the space and wrapped about Tulu. There were vines being cut all around, however they would join with the broken pieces. Its regenerative speed was quite fast. However, every time it got cut, the damage to the plant was huge. Amo. Poison howled. Powerless. He could feel, against this ugly scaled undying, he was disadvantaged. I'm still not strong enough. Even though I've successfully killed an undying before, that was one that used a large hammer. He had no way to cut Amo. He was finally worn out by Amo. Poison teared as he stared hard at the enemy, roaring within, Seventh brother, I will definitely kill him, definitely. Poison's battle was very intense, however the other old members were just as fatigued. Every one of them had 2 to 3 sector lords attacking them. These beings were bloodthirsty and intrepid. Maybe alone they were no match for the humans, but with 2 to 3 of them together, it wore out the members. Illusions have little effect on them. Demon Lady said anxiously. Hammer wielded a shield and large hammer, protecting her beside him. These flesh-eating freaks, their home is filled with massacre. They've been killing since young, and have grown up in such an atmosphere. They've long become used to such a demeanor, it's in their bones. Hypnotizing them is hard, we can only kill. I've killed one. Mad Wu was in a dangerous place too. He was being attacked by 4 of them at a time. Harming them is useless. Rock said urgently. Damaging them is useless. Rock, if you don't destroy their life core, even if their bodies explode, they can reform. The moment you pierce their bodies, you have to destroy their life core. God said anxiously. The battle reached a crazy level. Madman, help. Madman, hurry, Poison is risking his life, he's in the most danger. The Captain Tai Wo was extremely urgent. Luo Feng gazed about after killing 2 sector lords. The gold Nan Shen blade instantly became a splendid gold light, and tore through space before vanishing. The gold light appeared and pierced through a sector lord scaled being's chest, destroying its energy crystal. Rumble. Large amounts of items poured out. The gold light flashed again, and another scaled being stared wide-eyed with its mouth opened wide, revealing cold fangs, its gaze dimming. Luo Feng used his strength, even though he hadn't unleashed much, it was still akin to a normal undying strength. The Nanshan gold blade that could pass through the slits of space killed at a shocking speed. 10 Sector Lord scaled beings were instantly killed within 3 seconds. The many scaled bodies floated in space, their internal worlds collapsed and countless items filled the area. Madman sure is powerful. Powerful. The other Sector Lord members couldn't help but get shocked. It was actually not that easy for an undying to massacre so many Sector Lords in the battlefield. One had to see the type. If a fighter undying wanted to kill 10 Sector Lords, it would be a troublesome thing. And Luo Feng, however, used the Nanshan blade that was proficient in chasing down and killing others. What? The intrepid scaled undying stuck with Tai Wo, Fui San, was shocked to see the distant black-armored human, Nanshan armament. Ninth form. Fui San, there's one in the team akin to an undying. The other scaled undying Tuolu was shocked too. What do we do? Retreat. Fui San ordered. The tables had turned. The humans now had 3 undying strengths. They only had 2. And the human side had the other Sector Lords. While they wouldn't be able to kill them, they could weaken and affect them. You can't run. Luo Feng had just killed 10 Sector Lord scaled beings in one breath. He immediately controlled the gold blade to rush at the scaled undying Tuolu that was fighting the dark green vines. The gold blade vanished and appeared 300 m away, and them immediately 2 m behind Tuolu. It instantly pierced at his armor, the armor however blocked it. The powerful force within the Nanshan gold blade caused a huge vibration within his body. His 2 blades were affected and the dark green vines immediately rushed in, wrapping around the undying Tuolu. An undying's defense sure is strong. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed in the distance. Looks like the first level of the 9th form doesn't have much effect. The Nanshan armament's 9th form, a match against undying, could actually be split into 3 levels. Its power too could be split into passing the Heavenly Bridge's 13th, 14th and 15th level. Of which the first level, when unleashed, would vanish occasionally, able to travel through the slits of space and reappear. The distance it could do so was short, only a few hundred meters. The travel distance was very short, hence the attack power was only average, at most harming a normal undying. Normally unleashing the first level was enough to affect an undying, causing him to be unable to chase back. One would be able to survive against an undying. The second level had a huge increase in power, the distance it could vanish for would get even further. Both levels had a weakness though. When it traveled through the slits of space it would have law ripples. An undying proficient in space law would be able to sense this ripple, and easily dodge, and defend against it. Only the 3rd level. Its power increased by leaps and bounds. Its travel distance would reach over 1,000,000 kilometers. And only then would its travel reach the level of true teleportation, without a sense of space ripple, making it undetectable. Of course it's only the weapon being teleported, and that was obviously much easier than the teleportation of one's body. Even so, it was the maximum power of the Nanshan armament. However, it's obvious that this scaled undying's space comprehension is very weak. He cannot seem to detect the space ripples. Luo Feng's gaze flashed coldly. The Nanshan armament cannot harm me. The undying Tuolu howled, beginning to defend against the dark green vines and flee. A gold light flashed. It once again pierced at Tuolu's body. With experience from before, he was filled with confidence. However, after that he felt a terrifying force pass through his body, Weng. It caused his undying body to shake and make it almost crumble, his hands going completely numb. The dark green vines once again wrapped about him. 72 heavily damaged vines shrank swiftly, and became the thickness of an arm, wrapping madly about Tuolu. Tuolu struggled madly. However, in terms of strength, with the special form of the 72 vines combined, it was much stronger than him. Go and die. Poison immediately went mad as he howled. The last undying died just like that. You are set to die. Tuolu's bones were constricted till they broke apart, after which large amount undying energy exploded from within. The 72 vines, however, had formed a dark green cage covered in gold light, without a single slit. It completely trapped his undying energy within. If he had reached the level of undying body, he could have disintegrated and slipped out. However, he hadn't reached that level. If the damage was too severe and his spirit imprint was destroyed, that would be the end. Howl, pain and rage rang from within the dark green cage, dissipating after a while. The undying Tulu had fallen. Seventh brother. Poison raised his head and howled. His throat had gone completely hoarse as tears flowed down his eyes. He knelt before the dark green vines. After holding the hatred for over 3,000 years, he had studied on raising his potion strength madly, dreaming of the day he could take his revenge. Poison had always thought, if his seventh brother hadn't gone to distract the enemy back then, he could have totally escaped. However, to save Poison, he went to block the scaled undying Tulu, thereby sacrificing his life. I've succeeded, seventh brother, I did it, I'll kill that flesh-eating freak. Poison shouted within. Over the 3,000 years, he laughed and cursed on the surface, but that hatred had always remained within. This grudge was settled. There's another one. Poison turned fiercely and stared at the distant Tai Wo fighting against the scaled undying Fui San. Go and die. Poison controlled his plant life form, and immediately 72 vines swiftly shot towards him. It wasn't just him. Luo Feng had already controlled his Nanshan armament to head towards the last enemy, the strongest of the Chiosha group. Die. You can't escape. Die. The illusionists Wei and Demon Lady, along with the spirit reader Mad Wu and God etc., all used their soul attacks and illusions, along with spirit weapons and so on. They didn't aim to actually damage him, but as long as they could affect him in the slightest, it would allow Tai Wo to gain the advantage. Tulu is dead. Fui San noticed his partner's death and glanced at Luo Feng and Poison who were rushing over. He was shocked within. Those two sector lords are very powerful. The moment they combine forces with this human undying, I'll be in trouble. I may even fall here. I can't care about anything else. The scaled undying Fui San wanted to flee without getting injured. However, with Tai Wo holding him back now, and Luo Feng and Poison rushing over. Yaya! He roared manically. The flaming black chain on his body instantly vanished, and he used his two claws to smash directly at Tai Wo's fists. Swell! His two claws immediately glowed a glaring fiery red. One had to know that an undying's body was formed from countless amounts of undying energy condensed together. The moment one became undying, his body could easily become endless undying energy and vice versa. Of course he had to maintain the spirit imprint for it to be complete. Fui San instantly gave up both his arms, placing about 10% of the energy he had accumulated over countless years into them. It may seem like a small 10%, however every part of an undying's body was filled with their spirit imprint. Hence, while exploding, it would give up part of their spirit imprint too. He didn't have an undying body yet. That was something that allowed regeneration, so long as there was a single cell available. He wasn't at that level, hence, blowing up 10% of his body was already his limit. Rumble. The powerful explosion hit Tai Wo and knocked him far away. The surrounding space exploded open, with a large ravine opening from the tears. Countless space fragments flowed madly throughout and rippled in all directions. Even the distant floating scaled sector Lord Warrior Corpse's large amount of items were instantly destroyed from the ripples. Rumble. Fui San used his undying armor to withstand the explosion, and used its force to propel him away as he swiftly escaped. He instantly flew over 100,000 kilometers away. As he escaped, the large amount of items about were knocked astray. No one would have discovered that among the countless items, there was a seemingly normal black space ring. Bastard, he got away. Poison gritted his teeth. He sure fled real fast. Luo Feng gazed at the opponent that was already 1,000,000 kilometers away flying close to light speed. When an undying truly wanted to flee, and there was distance. Unless one had teleportation, otherwise even an emperor-level undying wouldn't be able to chase. Let's go, the commotion was too huge. If time drags on, there will definitely be many other race warriors rushing over. Tai Wo ordered. Hurry and collect the spoils. The Sector Lord elite team swiftly collected the goods, sat in the C9 ship and left. Shattered Stars space. The C9 grade ship was progressing, heading to their base. So close, just a little more, and we would have killed the other undying flesh-eating freak. Poison had regained his normal form, his eyes filled with mad excitement. All right, it's already not bad. To force that punk to sacrifice 10% of his undying body, that's already a huge cost. Tai Wo laughed. Even after 100,000 to 1 million years, he won't be able to regain the spirit imprint. What's going on? Rock asked curiously. Their race can self-destruct without any consequences. How can him exploding 10% of his undying body have such a high cost? Their explosions only explodes the body, later, returning it to undying energy. Tai Wo explained, and this undying energy holds energy and their spirit imprint, it's the foundation of an undying. With the energy gathered together, it can form an undying body. However, the moment one self-destructs, it blows up even the undying energy with no remains at all, becoming the most basic particle flow. Tai Wo laughed, hence its power is huge. This is also why the explosion wouldn't be huge. Self-destructing, however, creates a huge explosion. Tai Wo said, that undying energy holds his spirit imprint, if he only lost a little, it can easily regenerate. However, losing 10% at one go, equates to losing 10% of his soul. Even though the imprint is still whole, his strength and abilities etc. will all suffer a huge loss. It would take a very long time to recover. Of course. If he had reached the level of undying body, even after the explosion and the undying energy begins to crumble, the spirit imprint collapsing, as long as one fragment remains, he would be able to instantly absorb the countless broken fragments of energy and regain his complete undying body. Tai Wo said, once one reaches that level, he would be very hard to kill. Not just 10%, even if he loses 99.99% of his body, as long as there's a fragment, he can completely recover and instantly. Rock nodded. Let's toast. For seventh brother, for the many lost comrades over the years, cheers. Cheers. Tai Wo, Poison and the others all lifted their glasses. Even though Luo Feng and Rock were new recruits, they could feel how emotional they were. From the day I entered the outer region wars, death has always been beside me. I've been here for over 30,000 years. During this period, from Sector Lord to Undying, the many life and death partners, big brother, third brother, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh and ninth, they've all died. Tai Wo looked at Poison beside him. Poison took a deep breath too. Back then Tai Wo was number 2. Poison joined the team later on too, and had always been taken care of by seventh brother. He enjoyed the company of the childlike adorable Poison. The old comrades go and new ones come. Tai Wo exclaimed, we all have our own targets. Our team's second fool completed his target and retired. I'll probably retire in another 20,000 years too. Let's wish that the brothers and sisters here will live until they retire. The group raised their glasses. Living till retirement. They toasted. The group of old members had already completed their most basic quotas, they were all free. However, they didn't want to return to living normal lives, as they had their own goals. Hence, they wanted to acquire large amount of contribution points to exchange for treasures. One had to know that 100,000 contribution points could exchange for one mixed element, and that allowed them to get treasure from the army system. Accumulating 1 billion points was 10,000 mixed elements. That was already the wealth of a normal Undying. Within humanity's territories, these Sector Lord Generals, even after risking it all for 1,000 eras, they probably wouldn't even earn 10,000 mixed elements unless they had special encounters. And in the outer region wars, as long as they could survive for a few tens of thousands of years, accumulating 10,000 mixed elements was very easy. Of course, the prerequisite was surviving for tens of thousands of years. Poison, your grudge has been settled, you can drink less from now on. Tai Wo said softly. Poison nodded. Poison walked to Luo Feng and looked up at him, his eyes gleaming with gratitude. Madman, thanks. He. Luo Feng smiled. At this time, within the spirit reader Mad Wu's space ring with all the goods from the battle, there was a blur of items within. Of which there was a very normal black space ring. Amongst the many items in there was a level 5 spirit weapon. The living ship carefully flew within shattered stars. Bastards, despicable humans, bastards. The scaled undying Fui San howled in the control room. He was madly sweeping his wine and other items about. Pa. Breaking sounds and curses were spewed about, reverberating throughout the room. After a while, he stopped. His claws had already returned to normal. His eyes filled with madness. 10% of my soul. This will make my space law comprehension slow down so much. Despicable humans. I will definitely kill you. I bet you didn't even notice amongst the countless items floating in space there's a normal space ring, and within that space ring there's a weapon. His eyes gleamed with ferocity. That weapon is my marker item. I've hidden my spirit imprint on it. No matter how far away it is, I can feel it. And through it, I can naturally determine your locations at any time. His eyes were filled with hatred. An undying was able to use his god country teleportation at any time, as long as there was a marker which was actually an undying crystal. Undying energy was filled with their spirit imprint. It could be a plant life form, or even a specially made marker, like the one the primal chaos city leader gave to Luo Feng. With some of the undying's spirit imprint within the item, no matter how far away, whether it was in an internal world, god country etc., he could still feel it. No. I cannot waste time. These despicable humans may have already discovered its secret. Even though the chances of that happening are low, I cannot afford the chance. I have to take revenge and kill them. Fui San gritted his teeth. I have to immediately contact the other undying allies and partners and settle them together. Who should I look for? Fui San sat in the living ship, his claws tapping the arm-rest as it scratched. Suddenly, his eyes gleamed. Right, my fellow clansman Lake Ya. He should be here in Shattered Stars too. I'll look for him. He immediately used his consciousness to contact his clansman via his quantum computer. He cursed, the demon race is one of the pinnacle races of the universe. However, in terms of communication, it's far inferior to the humans and automaton. Especially the humans. I heard they can enter a virtual universe from anywhere in the vast universe, and it can do 100% simulation, almost like reality. I'm so envious. I'm a great undying and yet I've never had such an opportunity. Consciousness simulation technology was advanced a long time ago. These other race undyings normally had such chances to enter the virtual universe, however their areas were usually extremely limited. Like how Earth had the virtual world war god shrine, which only spread over Earth. These other races had their own virtual worlds that probably covered one galaxy. It wasn't even close to the size of humanity's virtual universe. And its messaging system was even worse. The universe was too huge. This was a hard problem to solve. Even within the demon race territories, it could at most do consciousness conversations within a universe country area, almost like making a call on Earth. It can only hold a conversation, and not actually see the other party. And it had to be within the area, the demon race area. If it was outside their territory, there was no way to communicate. Of course, as the outer region battlefields were a special place, communication devices were erected throughout, thus the leading allies and races could use these to communicate, and only have conversations. The universe was vast, communication was a huge problem. Even amongst the many pinnacle races, only the humans and automatons could actually communicate, at any spot in the universe. The automaton virtual world normally only covered one universe country size. The entire automaton territory had hundreds of them, every one with their own virtual world. The moment they left their territories, even though they could communicate it in other places, it was like making long-distance calls, very simple. Only the humans. They had the virtual universe, which was a legendary existence. It could simulate any universe laws, even the fusion laws. It spread throughout everywhere, even to another universe. The primal universe was within its boundaries. Using the virtual universe, humanity's strength could combine together, conquering a whole territory, and becoming a pinnacle race thus wasn't so strange. Amongst the countless shattered fragments in the area, within a particular shattered fragment, a scaled undying was sipping his wine and enjoying, while his underling sector lords were singing praises and flattery of him. Great Lake Ya, you are the greatest leader of our West Mountain area, only you can become its greatest leader. Lake Ya. The scaled sector lords all cheered. And the powerful scaled undying was enjoying the flattery. Suddenly he raised his hand and all the sector lords immediately went silent. The punk Fui San is actually looking for me. His eyes gleamed with villainy, his ugly claw grabbed the wine glass and he sipped from it, except Lake Ya. Fui San, it's rare for you to find me, what's the matter? Ah, you must know I'm very busy now exploring Shatter Stars. I may encounter a battle anytime. I have no time to be distracted by you, get to the point. Otherwise I may get into a battle anytime and break the call, then you can't blame me. Lake Ya said. Tulu is dead. Lake Ya, who initially wanted to have some fun with his partner, was shocked, his expression changed. The Chiosha race was a bloodthirsty race, every one of them grew up amidst massacre. With intense competition, only the victor could stand above the countless piles of corpses. However, whenever there were external pressures, the entire race would be incredibly united, all working together. How did he die? Lake Ya said seriously. The two chatted through the communication device. He was killed by humans. Fui San said. Fui San, are you stupid? This is the Outer Region Wars. The four pinnacle races have many subservient races, and countless warriors killing in all directions. Tulu being killed by humans is a very normal thing. Over 1 trillion years, who knows how many of our warriors have fallen? Lake Ya said. I want to kill that human team. Fui San said. Revenge. Lake Ya was suspicious, can you determine their location? Yes, when they collected the goods from the battle, I tossed out a space ring. That space ring has always been my trap for whenever I need to take revenge. The spirit imprint on that ring is that of one of my sector lords, and there are large amounts of items within, of which one weapon seems to give off sector lord energy, but in its inner core I've hidden my marker and my spirit imprint. Unless they have an official level or emperor level undying to scan through the items and find the weakest signals within, otherwise, they'd never know what I left them. You sure are crafty. They killed my brother and underlings, I definitely have to take my revenge. You should know that during battle, the humans activate their scanning devices and the virtual universe network broadcast to determine their contribution points. These two together would discover the extra space ring amidst the countless others floating in space. That's a suspicious point. Relax, I naturally won't commit such a stupid mistake. Fui San said confidently. I was using my strongest attack against their undying back then, tearing through space and destroying a large amount of the items, among which some space rings broke and produced large amounts of items from them to take. I took the chance to toss out this ring. Even if their scanning devices and broadcast detected it, it wouldn't be suspicious at all. You sure are crafty. Lake Ya admitted, there was indeed no loophole in his plan. What's the human's strength? Lake Ya asked. Their team has 1 undying and 9 sector lords. Fui San said, of which 2 sector lords are extremely powerful, akin to undyings. One is a chemist and other is a spirit reader with the Nanshan armament. The two of them combined easily killed Tulu. 3 undying strength. Lake Ya was shocked, quickly asking, all normal level undying fighting strength? Yes, do you think I could survive if they were stronger? Fui San said. Undyings were split into generals, official level and emperor level. Even the lowest level generals had their difference in strength, the weakest were those that could pass the 10th level of the heavenly bridge. The strongest could pass the 14th. The moment they passed the 15th, that would be the official level of strength. From the 10th to 14th, they were all general level, of course the difference within was still huge. Undying generals were also called normal undyings. In the battlefield they were naturally split into normal, undying, low, mid and pinnacle. That's still okay, however even the normal level undying, there's 3 of them. The 2 of us together would still have no hope. Lake Ya shook his head. Relax, I won't send you to your death. Since I've set this up, I want to act only with full guarantee. Lake Ya, you are just one of the members I've invited. I heard that you are close to the Demon Clan's Majesty Meng Wei Na. Fui San said excitedly, as long as he can come along with us, even if we don't invite the other allies, just him alone would be able to destroy the human team. His Majesty Meng Wei Na. Lake Ya was shocked. Even though their communication system was inferior, their strengths were powerful. In terms of numbers, they didn't lose to the humans. In terms of intelligence, the weakest demons were akin to the normal humans. And their natural talents were much stronger than humans. Hence, their sector lords and undyings etc., they could completely suppress the humans. However, the upper echelon of humanity was very powerful, plus they had the virtual universe to assist. In a true universe battle, they had never been suppressed by the Demon Clan. The 2 pinnacle races had been fighting for countless years. The Demon Clan was different from humanity. The Demon Clan favored bloodline. Just like the Space Beast bloodline, they had a definite higher or lower level. Their emphasis on the bloodline was very strong. Hence, they had a large number of empires, of which some of them had countless races that could have emperors or kings, distinguishing between their bloodlines. As long as one had emperors and kings, they would be called majesties. The Chiosha race etc. were subservient races. Towards the Demon Clan, they were very respectful. Just like how the Gold Horn race and many other subservient races respected humans. His Majesty Meng Wei Nan is one of the members of the 10,000 Hidden Snakes Empire. You want to invite him? Lake Ya was still hesitant. His Majesty's normal state is that of a higher normal undying. However, once he unleashes his talents, his battle strength rises close to an official level undying. Fui San said, he can beat anyone below official level. With him there, we'll have a full guarantee. I can help you ask, but I can't promise anything. Lake Ya said. Give me his number. Once you let him know that I am looking for him, I'll then try to contact him. I have a full guarantee of getting him to help. Fui San said. Full guarantee. Lake Ya was shocked. You'll know soon enough. Fui San said confidently. This video will end here.